Most advice feels productive, but doesn't actually change your life. See, there are times when you get caught in a mental loop of seeking information, seeking more knowledge, and looking for guidance. And this can occur in a form of procrastination, and it can become a form of planning, but allows you to avoid actually taking the action. What's going on, guys? Much love, many blessings, and just skip so much of the BS and just bypass so much of the noise and the distractions to get to a better state of mind and to get to a better quality of life. Once you lock in and focus on really controlling how you think, how you develop yourself, your routine, and the actions you take on a daily basis, the world really starts to transform before your eyes. But it's so important to not only focus on what you can do externally. Yes, taking care of your external appearance matters. It has its value in the marketplace. But there's also something to be said about doing the inner work. It's important to focus on your mental health along with the intangibles and also your physical health. But the part that is not seen, you know, exercise, obviously, right? But also your nutrition. These are all things. And above all of that, some would say, is rest. How do you allow your body to recover so that you can show up stronger the next time around? So let's get into it. We started off this video by talking about how information and motivation is great, but it doesn't always change your life. And why is that? It's because most advice feels productive, but by you coming into this information with the same habits and identity that you did before you even listened to the information, you are likely to continue with the same habits and the same things that got you where you are today. It isn't until you decide to use the information that you learn and apply it in new ways to your life that things begin to change. No matter what, there is no way around doing the work, taking the action and following through. I think that in modern day society, choosing convenience has almost poisoned our inner resolve, our independence, and our ability to become innovative. It's almost dulled our senses. It has its benefits and there are trade offs. But when you seek convenience, it's almost like constantly seeking comfort. And that might feel good now, but it's not going to last because things change, seasons change, and what we need change. And I'll be honest, by doing the work now, it allows us to fill up our lives with more meaning and more stability, more security, more clarity. Because you don't need more information to take action, you need more execution intentionally. Okay, so watching self improvement content can become a form of procrastination because it allows you to listen to the ideas that sound motivating, that sound productive, that sound like they're taking you on the right path, but it doesn't push you to take the action right here, right now, because the present is where our power is. You might get caught in thinking about the future, overthinking, feeling anxious, having worry about what's to come. Or you might be someone who looks at yourself and says, man, I am late. I'm behind. I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have bought Bitcoin. While hindsight can be 2020, it's more important to learn the lesson within the loss, to learn the lesson within the lateness, and to unlock your latent potential here and now. So don't allow regret, doubt, or fear to hold you back. Allow it to be a fuel, a source of energy so that you can take action now. Because in the fog of confusion and uncertainty, it is action that gains us clarity, and it is taking intentional steps day by day that really transforms our lives. So that's why I'm posting a video today. That's why I decided to push myself, even though it's close to 11 o'clock at night where I'm at. I don't want to stay in my comfort zone. Looking at my life, there are times I've wondered, am I behind? Or could I have done something better sooner? And generally the answer is yes, we could always do something better. But I'll answer it this way, this time around. You are not behind. You are where you're meant to be. And if there is somewhere you want to be, only you can do something about it. Only you can take the steps to get you to your next destination. Watching self-improvement is stalling the arrival to the destination. You plan and plan and plan, but if you're never taking the action, you're not going to get anywhere. All right. We already talked about how clarity isn't necessarily the problem, but execution is. See, when you always think about your next step, but don't actually take the steps, you're disconnecting yourself from a form of reoccurring feedback. Just like scientists conduct experiments and they use the data from their experiments, looking at the results to draw a conclusion and to move accordingly, so does taking action allow us to look at the outcomes of these actions and adjust our strategies. So the more complex the advice is, the less likely you're going to act on it. And that's what's really important here is you don't want to get caught up in all the minutia. You don't want to overthink, but you also really have to allow yourself to take action in small segments. The small steps forward really build up over time. And the imperfect first reps, I know we talked about this before, but it's so key. The imperfect first reps really gains momentum and it gives you the feedback so that you can make better moves moving forward. Now, this little series that we're starting here is really about getting your mindset right as you go through your days, as you go through the weeks, because as men in modern day society, it is up to us, I think, more than ever, or perhaps it's always been this way, for our forefathers, our ancestors. God bless them, rest in peace. But perhaps it's always been this way, and we're just waking up to it more and more because there's been a shadow or a mirage of convenience. But as the economy seems to be declining, as things become more expensive, and life just seems hard overall, more and more as men, we have to be not only the leaders of ourselves, but we have to be the leaders of our communities. And that starts here, here, and that starts around us in our environments. So, gentlemen, we don't want to look for others for help or salvation, you know, especially men. I mean, God, Yeshua, you know, religious figures, that's another story, another conversation. It's important to strive for a higher version of ourselves, but to rely on others, other humans, is a dangerous game. Collaboration is one thing and that's beneficial, but to depend on others, I should say, we want to cut that out. We want to become self-reliant in a way that allows us to honor our potential and to really do something worthwhile that's providing value to our lives, our situation, but to others as well, more importantly. Because when you help others and you make life easier for others, there's this beautiful trickle effect and life becomes somewhat easier for you. Now, you don't need to have another plan. You need to follow one and stick with it. And that's the goal here. I'm hopefully reflecting that through these videos. The reps and showing up has really become transformational in my life. And hopefully it will be for you as well. If there's something that you want to begin, if there's something that you need a sense of accountability towards, I'd recommend to subscribe and join this community because we're building that. We're building a community of accountability. It's so important to remember and remind yourself of your potential and your power and act on it on a daily basis. And that's what this community here is for. And that's what you can hopefully do within yourself is to develop that mindset. How do we do that? We focus on taking action every day. We focus on cutting out the noise and the distractions and building a community that reinforces this mindset that you are capable of so much more than you know. And it all starts by taking that imperfect first step. Motivation fades, but small actions compound. Think of it like depositing small amounts into your bank account every day versus investing once a month, once every couple of months. Ideally, if you were to do $100 once a month versus $10 every day, I mean, the end result is going to be 3x over the span of a month. That is the same for changing our lives. Allowing ourselves to take the action every day is allowing ourselves to shape and transform our identity and how we see ourselves. So that's going to be key here. Now, overthinking is just wearing a smarter outfit, but it still is covering up a sense of fear. We want to eliminate that. And the best way we can do that is by taking the action, meaning there are times that we can think about something and be afraid of it, but it'll never occur. It doesn't occur. It doesn't happen. So it's important to be prepared, but we don't want to get stuck. We don't want to stay stagnant. The focus here and on this channel is by getting the reps in, taking the action, and being the man that you've always wanted to be, being the man you deserve to be. All right, you already know what to do. You're just avoiding it. How many of us know what to do, but we choose the easier route or we choose comfort? This is going to have to be something that we contend with. And it's really a 1v1, you versus you situation. At times, it's going to be you versus you, and not in a sort of negative way, but in a way of a younger you versus a more mature or knowledgeable you. This channel is focused on putting the microscope and the magnifying glass of self-awareness onto ourselves and not just the world around us, so that we can shift, change, or adjust our habits and adapt to the new circumstances, the new challenges and demands of today. So consistency is going to beat intensity every time. It takes just one simple decision to really get that ball rolling and allowing the new momentum of these transformations to completely paint a new picture of your life. Now, one key takeaway from this video will be this: if what you want to do can be done in less than 10 minutes, do it immediately. Of course, you want to be in a safe environment and all that, but focus on the wins that are small but can occur every day. This is going to compound. This is going to build into a dramatic transformation so that within a year or so, you won't even recognize who you are versus who you were. And that is a positive, respectfully. And that is a positive outcome. That is a way to gain self-respect, self-trust, and ultimately self-love. It starts with self-awareness. And I'm hoping that this video will be something that focuses your attention so that you understand progress starts the moment you stop consuming and you start taking action. All right, that was me being just super passionate about it. Just remember that progress starts the moment you stop consuming and you start moving towards your goals. And only you can do that for yourself. If you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe, comment, and leave a like down below. And feel free to watch the new videos coming out each and every week. As always, good things to you and yours. Much love, many blessings.